comes Haugo, slips out of a few tackles, and Peter Haugo's out for the races.
I'm doing up for the team.
Sheds the first defender, sheds the second defender.
Busted open. Jack Smith down the right sideline and into the end zone.
Hello, and how is everybody doing? Friday night, it means high school football, it means Varsity Sports Live, and for once, it gives me a chance to sit in this chair right here next to this guy. And that's not a bad deal for anybody.
Work with Jay Elson the next couple days, and I couldn't have ordered that up better. But hey, I'll tell you what, we saw some number ones get tested in South Dakota, and they passed the test for the most part. Lincoln, Pierre, Del Rapids, all with big tests tonight, and we got highlights of all that coming up.
You know what else I noticed is that some of the there was several battles of undefeated teams tonight, and they weren't all that competitive.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to set up the show. Let's look at the scoreboards.
Let's get into the scoreboards. All right, here we go. Number one, Sioux Falls Lincoln continues to roll the Patriots over Harrisburg, number 4, 35-20 tonight, and another big night for Tate Schaefer in that ball game. O'Gorman rolls out west, 47-0 over Rapid City Stevens as well. Elsewhere at 11 AAA, Sioux Falls Jefferson, no problem with Rapid City Central. They win that 41-0. Late fourth quarter now, Brandon Valley. This is a bit of a surprise unless you consider all the context involved here. Brandon Valley up 35-0 in the fourth quarter against Roosevelt, but the Riders without a pretty big gun tonight.
Yeah, without Jackson Gravengood, and then the couple weeks before they were just getting some players back. So we don't know what we're getting on a week-to-week basis with the Riders, but we do have highlights of that one coming up.
All right, up in Watertown tonight, the number 4 Arrows, 41, couple of touchdowns over Sioux Falls, Washington, 41-27.
It was closer than that, though. We got highlights.
It was very late into that game. Game of the night in 11 AA, certainly. Pierre and Yankton. Now 27-14. You look at that. Okay, a couple touchdown win for the Governors, but the Bucks gave them all they could handle for quite a while.
Yeah,
in that game.
I think there was 7 minutes left, and the game was still tied. So Pierre hasn't had to sweat like that in a while.
Not a close contest out in T tonight. The Titans rolling over Douglas 66-8. Keegan DeYoung, 3 rushing touchdowns in that game for the Titans tonight. Out west, Spearfish, number 5. Jandy, 31-0 over Brookings, and Spearfish put together a nice
They deserve that little number next to them, that ranked number. They have played much better this year, and they gave Yankton a game a couple weeks ago. Haven't really had a test other than that.
Speaking of teams that have played much better, how about the Huron Tigers? 14-10 winners over Sturgis Brown tonight. And then a big game coming up Saturday in Mitchell, the Colonel Bowl, as they host ESD rivals Aberdeen Central in that game at Joe Quintal Field. In 11A, the big one of the night, Del Rapids and Canton. A lot of scoring, Jason, 48-30, but this was not maybe as close as that score seems.
There were some backups playing in the second half. Del Rapids came out with their serious face on after having a big test West River last week. We have the Couriers talking about that coming up. You'll want to stay and hear what they had to say.
Yeah, I had to wonder if that was going to be a bit of a wake-up call, and it appears that it might have just been tonight with what they did to the Seahawks. West Central 41-7, a winner tonight over Vermilion. And another big battle for Sioux Falls Christian. Jared Smith's team has been tested each and every week. The first few weeks, it was 2, 3, 4 in the state. Now, not the case against the winless Madison team, but I know after talking with him last week, Jan, he was a little worried. He knew the Bulldogs had some athletes, and they gave him a big test tonight.
There's a reason Madison's been getting votes, and they've been getting beat by a really tough schedule as well. So look for Madison to continue that growth. Didn't get the win, but a good challenge against the Chargers.
Another win for Lennox tonight, and a big one at that, 58-7 over Custer. Winners, number 1 team in 11B, Jason, they'll play Saturday night out west against Lead Deadwood. Sioux Valley and Bridgewater Emory Ethan. This is one of those battles of unbeatens that we were talking about that there was some excitement about, but Sioux Valley, boy, they really flexed their muscles in this game, Jason. It was 22-0 at halftime. They roll 42-6. Bowden Schiller, big night for him. Couple of passing touchdowns, another on the ground as the Cossacks improve or stay unbeaten on the season. In nine-man ranks, number 1 Canastota doubles up Elkton Lake Benton by a count of 24-12 on the road tonight, so an impressive performance there. And then Howard, 45-18 over Freeman Marion, Freeman Academy tonight. And another good, tightly contested contest up in DeSmet tonight. Woolsey-Wessington visiting the Bulldogs, and DeSmet wins that one by a score of 14-6.
We've got highlights of that one. So, yeah, some good battles tonight. Not necessarily the closest scores, but there's some context that we'll give you as we go through the actual highlights.
And it is the wild part that, we're rounding the corner on the halfway point of the season already.
Some teams have 5 games in.
Yeah, this season is heating up quick.
Cool.
And so these games getting more and more important as we go through. Let's go to the first batch of highlights tonight. And we talked about the top team in 11 AAA Lincoln. They've been impressive each and every week, and they started strong tonight again. Tate Schaefer to Isaac Jarofsky puts Lincoln up 7-0. Harrisburg, though, comes right back. Sam Knuth, Cale Morton. That goes for 37 yards. Set up a touchdown run for Levi Danielson right here. And Harrisburg quickly ties the game at 7 apiece. Pats back at it, though. Schaefer, Jarofsky again.
This is a wide receiver show. If you're looking for all-state receivers, go no further than this game. Titan Tryon, Morton, you saw Jarofsky, and now you get a look at Jack Smith.
Quiet first quarter for Jack Smith, the all-time leading receiver at Lincoln High School, but he had quite a second quarter. Yak for a touchdown, 21-7. Schaefer then buys some time here, and he's going to find his favorite target once again. Sticks in the end zone. Smith for 6 more, 28-7 Lincoln at that point. Now Harrisburg trying to work their way back into this game. Knuth finds Morton here, makes an amazing catch, but he's ruled out of bounds.
Okay, you guys can slow that down at home.
And no points on the drive, so that added insult to injury there. Josh Myers up the gut here, 22 yards for the touchdown. And that made it 35-7. Harrisburg would score a couple of late touchdowns in this game, make it a little bit more competitive. 41-yard pitch and catch from Knuth to Carlson here, but not enough. Pats impressive again, Jason, as they win it by a score of 35-20. And here you look, Schaefer 4 passing touchdowns, 2 each to Jarofsky and Smith. That is, but then on the other side, you've got Carlson. You mentioned Titan Tryon. He's not even on the board tonight, but that's some serious pass-catching talent in that game.
There's tons of great talent, and you can't stop the Patriots. What they've done last week against Jefferson, and now a commanding win against the Tigers, they have to feel good. They're going to keep looking for things to improve, though. But if they take the character of their quarterback, Tate Schaefer, they're going to be just fine. He is super humble, and we talked to him after the game.
I think on offense, we just got as many players and playmakers that you need in high school football. Our defense is young, but they're stepping up huge. O-line, great. We're just having a good start to the year. I think just with our playmakers, we have just trusting them, getting the balls in their hands, and letting them make plays. We had a good running game tonight. Everything just coming together for us.
Now, the word that he said there, Jason, that I really like is trust.
Yeah.
You got playmakers all over the field in Lincoln, whether it's out wide or in the backfield, and they used them all.
In the last couple of years, they've had a lot of these guys who have gotten the experience, but they haven't put it all together. This year, the running game, the defense, the receivers, and Tate Schaefer is so comfortable back there. Give credit to the offensive line as well. Just a complete team over there in Lincoln.
And, you always worry a little bit when you've got a big game coming up, looking past somebody. And, of course, Lincoln does next week with O'Gorman. Speaking of O'Gorman,
they're getting set
how about
up.
we head out west? They're taking on Rapid City Stevens tonight in a rough start for the Raiders. Opening kickoff, and you don't want to give it away that quick. Recovered by Samuel Marsh, gives the Knights great field position. Moments later, Hayden Gross to Ryland Satter. 11 yards on the touchdown pass makes it 7-0 O'Gorman very early. That got the ball rolling for the Knights. Next possession, Maverick Jones.
Maybe the only team that has as many weapons as Lincoln. Maverick Jones, Ryland Satter. You see him every week. So many different ways to score for the Knights.
14-0 at that point. Deja vu a short time later. Jones again, this time for 5 yards out. 20-0 after the missed PAT. And that O'Gorman defense, Jason, they're pretty good too. And they did not let up just because they had a big early lead. Nothing doing it all for the Raiders. But as we move to the second quarter, more offense. Satter all alone there, his second touchdown of the half. Jones not to be outdone. He gets in for his third score of those first two quarters a short time later. All O'Gorman in this one. Knights blank Stevens 47-0 to set up that big 1 versus 2 matchup next Friday night
It's on
against
Midco
number 1
Sports.
Lincoln.
And it's on Midco Sports. We'll do that game up big. Can't wait to see those two teams go at it. But the Knights, no problem going West River tonight.
All right, back to Howard Wood Field now. Brandon Valley visiting Roseville. As we said, Riders no Jackson Gravengood in this game. Not sure it would have mattered with how things went, though. First Roosevelt drive, it's going to get ruined real quick. Caden Dowd sacks the quarterback, forcing the Rider punt. Second Roosevelt possession, more of the same. This time, Thomas Risty going to force the punt. Jack Thuey can throw the ball a little bit, Jason. This is a nice connection right here to Davion Bonwell White. 81 yards for score.
He's just a sophomore, and he's dropped a couple, but he's made some big plays. And without Landon Delaney, he became that much more important tonight.
How about a punt block? This is when you start to know that things are going. That's Navarro Shunky.
The big man.
The big mid up there blocking that thing. And, boy, Brandon Valley just kept rolling from there. Pounded into the end zone there. 3-yard touchdown run makes it 14-0 at the half. It is now a final at Howard Wood. 35-0 in favor of Brandon Valley.
Huge confidence boost for the Lynx, who, hadn't put a signature game yet together this year, and the Riders were on an upswing this game, but Levi Veskerna, the sophomore, ran the ball very well, and Jack Thuey has been playing well all season long and put a stamp on this one.
A lot of confidence building in that Brandon Valley team right now. They've played a tough schedule as well already. How about the game of the night in 11AA, and it's Pierre and Yankton. Pierre gets the opening drive marching down the field, but Kaiser's pass picked off by Boney Thurman, and he takes it a long way back into Pierre territory. That'll set up the Bucks in the red zone. Lucas Kampshoff rolls out, finds Austin Goebel. He makes the push for 6. Yankton strikes first, up 7-0, but Pierre's defense stood up after that. Kampshoff again looking to pass, but he's sacked way back here by Lucas Chamberlain. Pierre would go on and cook in the second half of this game, Jason. They win it 27-14 and stay undefeated. And more importantly for them, I think, is they got a challenge, a big one on the road, and they were there to answer the call.
Well, they did. They got it. They were tied, like I said, 7 or 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter when Trey Lewis finally broke through, gave him that go-ahead touchdown, and then they put some pad and put the stamp down with some of their big-time players on the squad to keep that winning streak alive.
AA, AAA crossing paths tonight in Watertown. This is Washington on the road against the Arrows.
Yeah, it was 7-0 Watertown leading this thing, and then it's Jace Wood. Last week it's a 99-yard touchdown catch. This week it's an 83-yard catch from Tommy Hoffman, but the Watertown Arrows coming right back. Nathan Briggs goes to the corner of the end zone and puts Watertown back up. So they're up 14-7. For the most part, Watertown had control of this game and was up, but it was Mitch Olson who needed this catch right before halftime to put Watertown in front. 2014, Washington would come back and actually take the lead right before half, but coming out of the third quarter, it was Spencer Winches, a 56-yard connection, and the Arrows got some big plays from somebody other than Juven Hudson, which has been a problem this year because they have relied on him so much. Jacob Cruz now takes it to the corner, and that would put Washington back up in front in the third quarter, 28-26. But from that point on, the Arrows took control of this game. And speaking of Juven Hudson, their all-state quarterback, he came in and almost scored a touchdown by himself. You'll see them take the carry here. He actually fumbles it into the end zone where Carter Ingalls gets the offensive line big man touchdown. That would put the Arrows up for good. They would add a little spice to their win with a big Owen Sparks interception return here that would close things out. And the Watertown Arrows, it's got to feel good going up against Washington last year, not playing their best, and so showing that improvement year to year by getting a 2-score win over the Washington Warriors on their home field, 41-27.
Yeah, Arrow's now 3-1 on the year. Hemrick, though, 4 passing touchdowns for him as the Arrows played some good football. Big test, though, next week at Pier, going to the capital city to take on the top-ranked Governors.
They can't wait. I can't wait. We're going to have highlights of that one coming up next week.
All right, biggest game at 11-8 tonight was Canton and Del Rapids.
Yeah, Canton's such a physical team, but Del Rapids wanted to show they can do a little bit of physicality themselves. Cole Rusink scores a touchdown, gets them on the board on their first drive, 8-0. And then Braxton Mulder back to pass. It's Mason Stubbe, one of the best two-way players in the state, who goes up and gets it. And then go back to Cole Rusink for the touchdown. And just like that, Del Rapids comes in number 1 and is up 14-0, stunning the Canton Seahawks. They go back to that run game where they love the misdirection, and Mason Stubbe punches one in. They're up 22-0 before you can blink. In the second half, the Canton Seahawks finally got on the board as Braxton Mulder finds Matt Anderson. That was 28-8, but everything from that point on was all Del Rapids Warriors. They were coming off of a game last week where they went toe-to-toe with an 11B school, and they wanted to prove they were back on track on homecoming night. Here's a couple of the Warriors after the game.
There's no better feeling. It's our senior homecoming. It's the best way to go out with our guys.
We planned on dominating every part of the game today, and that's exactly what we did. We won every position we could. It's awesome. You never want to lose a homecoming game, and we're going to do that tonight.
They planned on dominating,
Just plan on it, and it'll happen. No, I love talking to these guys. You know that they had full confidence that they could play better than they did last week, and that was something every player talked about after the game.
I don't think any coach will ever admit that a wake-up call was a good thing, because they're never happy. If you're in a situation where, we got a wake-up call, it means you played less than your best, right?
But
to be able to come back, it shows a lot of character in your team. Come back and put a performance like that against a really good Canton team.
And last week, they went up against a good Hot Springs team. It looked, like it might not have been as hard as it was because they were going against an 11B team, but that was a good team. They went on the road across the state, and they turned it over 3 times in moments where they really could have taken control of that game. So they corrected all of that within a week.
Yeah, those turnovers will even the playing field real quick, for sure. Elsewhere at 11-8 tonight, how about West Central and Vermilion, Jason? The Trojans came in 3-0. Vermilion 1-2, but the West Central got going early.
Everything that could have went wrong for Vermilion right off the top. And you see Caden Elfson, the quarterback, he went to the air to get some touchdowns, and that's good news for West Central, who has Crew Hire playing a little tight end this year. He got the first touchdown, and the second touchdown there goes to Sarda. So they just rolled it up on the Tanagers tonight, got up 28-0 in the first half, and punched their ticket against a really good team in Vermilion. So Vermilion had played great defense up until this game, but a nice confident boost for West Central tonight.
Future Coyote Crew Hire looking very comfortable in the confines of the Dakota Dome in that one. How about Sioux Valley and Bridgewater Emory-Eaton? Both teams coming into this game 4-0 on the year in Class 11B. Cossacks, though, got right to work, Jason, on their opening possession. Brock Christopherson, how about the vision he shows right here? Cuts back across the field, and he is gone. 50 yards for the touchdown, and the Cossacks lead 8-0 early. Meanwhile, their defense being awful stingy in the early part of this game. Jacob Guffmiller picks off the pass from Drake Gustafson. Nice. And Sioux Valley back in business again inside the 30-yard line of Bridgewater Emory-Eaton. And they would cash it in 4 plays later. Bowden Schiller keeping it all the way for the 2-yard touchdown run. He'd add the 2-point conversion right after that. 16-0 Cossacks after 1. And they would add to that advantage just before the half. Schiller to the air this time, finds tight end Hudson Rusink for a 12-yard score. Sioux Valley led 22-zip at the half, and they deal Bridgewater Emory-Eaton its first loss of the year in convincing fashion, 42-6. And let me tell you, the physicality, the athleticism for Sioux Valley on full display tonight against a really good Seahawks team.
We know they have the athletes. The physicality is where they needed to really step up The offensive line has kind of been a question mark for the Cossacks. Can they really compete with those top 11B teams with their line? Well, tonight they showed the physicality.
They absolutely did. 42-6 again, proving to 5-0 on the year. Now we head to Elkton Lake Benton. They're hosting number 1 Canastota. Both these teams 4-0 on the year coming in. Canastota senior quarterback Tage Ortman looking for options on first down. Takes off on the run, and he's going to take it all the way down inside the 5-yard line. And Caden Scott would get to finish it off from there. He goes in for an easy score, and it's 8-0 Hawks. Second quarter now. The Elks get on the board. Colt Beck stands in the pocket, hits Tanner Stein. He makes Ortman miss and dives for the end zone. Thinks it's a touchdown, but it's ruled just short, and Beck would polish it off right after that. He takes it in. 8-6 ball game. After both teams fumble on possessions late in the second quarter, Canastota takes the lead. Ortman finds Ty Dobler, and he puts on the Jets. 16-6 game going into the half, and the Hawks fly to a 24-12 victory over Elkton Lake Benton.
The number 1 team in 9A gets a good win over a good 9AA team. I actually spoke with their head coach, Brad Struck, earlier this week, and he said Tage Ortman's development has been evident, and it's because he doesn't just try to force it downfield like he did last year. You showed him tucking and running. You showed him with the short pass that went to the end zone. That's exactly what Coach Struck is talking about, and that earned them a victory tonight.
So they're 5-0, 24-12. Elkton Lake Benton suffers its first loss, drops to 4-1. Howard visiting Freeman Academy. Tigers 3-1. Freeman 4-0. First quarter, Howard quarterback Tayton Hoyer finds Luke Kopsel for an 18-yard touchdown. That puts the Tigers in front 6-0. Still in the first, Howard with the ball again. Play action this time. Hoyer to Kopsel again.
Yeah,
great run after the catch there, 36 yards.
Not many 9-man teams have a weapon like Kopsel that can get open, a tight end like that, and then you know they can run the football.
More Howard, give it off to Jackson Remmers. He'll handle the rest down the sideline into the end zone. No problem for Howard tonight. The third-ranked Tigers roll to a 45-18 win.
That's a big contest for the Phoenix, who really wanted to show that they could play with some of the best teams in 9AA. They had not been in the rankings, but they showed that they're maybe just a year away from that. They've got so many young players. Next year, I think Freeman's going to be playing for a championship or right in that mix. But this year, it's Howard's year.
Ooh, bookmark it, folks. You heard it here first. Jason Andera going on the way too early train for next year's state championships. All right. One more set of highlights to go. We've got Woolsey Wessington visiting DeSmet. Early first quarter, Bulldog quarterback Britt Carlson throws a touchdown pass to Tom Offenbaugh.
Yeah, Offenbaugh has been their main weapon this year, and you saw he held on it just long enough.
7-0 the score at that point. Woolsey Wessington's in the second. Caleb Richmond completes over the middle to Colin Hughes. Hughes scampers down the sideline to set the Warbirds up inside the 10. That led to this. Richmond connects with Moshe Richmond for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion would fail. It was 7-6 to Smith at that point, and the Bulldogs had a little breathing room from there. They win it 14-6, now 4-1 on the year.
Yeah, Britt Carlson got a rushing touchdown in the second half. There was no other scoring in the second half. Carlson ended up 4 for 8, 51 yards and a touchdown. He ran for 45 and a touchdown and was solid on the defensive side. Another big defensive effort for Brendan Pitts' Bulldog team that has been so good. I think they have a real shot at winning 9B this year. There's some question marks for sure in 9B, but they are right there with the top.
Absolutely. All right, well, another action-packed night in South Dakota, certainly. And guess what? It was no different up north. We're going to check in on some scores and highlights from the great state of North Dakota as Jody Norstead joins us right after this here on Varsity Sports Live.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different. Varsity Sports Live, presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University.
All right, well, welcome back. Let's get into the North Dakota action. Lots of good stuff going on up north tonight. First with the scoreboards, and certainly as a game you saw right here on Midco Sports tonight. Shanley and West Fargo Cheyenne, top two teams in Class 3A. All Shanley, 42-14 the final in that one. Davies a 40-14 winner over West Fargo. Minot 30-0 over Bismarck Century tonight. Bismarck playing much better here, Jandy. 34-7 over Legacy. We've got Mandan, a 35-18 win on the road in Williston tonight. Fargo North continues its perfect season as well. 38-15 the final over Bismarck St. Mary's. Bit of an upset tonight in Grand Forks as Central knocks off Red River 30-18. I'm sure Jody will have a thing or two to say about that. Fargo South 70-6 over Devil's Lake tonight. Horace 26-20 winner over Wahpeton. Sorry, Carson. 18-6 Dickinson over Valley City tonight. In Class A, Shiloh Christian all over Bowman County, 53-13, and Dickinson Trinity an 11-point win over Killdeer, 33-22. The final in that one. Langdon, Edmore, Munich. Another impressive performance for the Cardinals tonight, 42-0 over Cavalier. Carrington, a 53-33 win over Grafton tonight. Kindred, number 2 team in Class A, 33-6 over Northern Cass, and Oaks over Hillsboro Central Valley, 21-0. The number 2 team in 9-man Sargent County, 43-6 over Wyndmere Lidgerwood tonight. Wyndmere Lidgerwood had previously been undefeated. New Salem Almont, 38-28 over Grant County Flasher. So New Salem, the Holsteins, now 5-0. On the season. North Prairie 60-22 over North Border, and Alexander a 40-28 win over Central McLean. So as we promised, lots of action going on in North Dakota. What do you say we bring in our fellas up north there, Jody Norstead and Carson Zarek, who are going to take it away from here. Hi, fellas.
Yeah, Carson was able to navigate us through traffic because there was a packed house at Shanley tonight, and we had to drive all the way back to the studio. So credit to this guy driving and letting me edit some stuff on the way back. But what a game we had. 1 versus 2 going into the night. Cheyenne and Shanley, it lived up to the hype. A great battle, and the Deacons pulled through. Minot, though, dominant in their win. We'll get to those highlights in a little bit. But here, they dedicated the field, a new turf field at Shanley, replacing their old one that was first put in 2009. They got a track around there now, too. But homecoming, it was all sorts of festivities. But once the coin flip happened and the kickoff happened, it was all about the Deacons. And Cheyenne getting off to a good start. Cooper Bryant gets the ball here on Caden Olson, but on the first drive, Caden Olson looking for the end zone, instead picked off by Sam Oshek, who had himself a big night. And then Deacons on their first play from scrimmage, a little trickery, Carson.
Yeah, some trickery to start the opening possession, 80-yard touchdown to Jordan Leininger, who had a huge night. Yeah, from Carson Busek. Who got the handoff there. And then Cam Allers coming in and ruining people's days. He gets the strip sack, recovers the fumble, and then another interception here. Jordan Leininger making plays all over the field. Offense, defense didn't matter. Jordan Leininger was our Sandy's Donut player of the game, and as you can see why. And then Cheyenne gets into the end zone here. This is Tate Herman rumbling his way into the end zone. That makes it 7-7. And then it was Landon Meyer into the end zone, and then Meyer again 2 times. Yeah, right up the middle. They have a nice goal line package for Landon Meyer. Gonna be tough to stop in the red zone for those Deacons. So Meyer makes it 20-7, but Cheyenne gets a touchdown right before the half, and then back comes the other way. Shanley going to Caden Chrisman. Chrisman gets down into the red zone, and then they convert again. Busek with a little one-on-one move, and he finds the end zone. And Shanley continues to pile up the points. That was early in the third, 27-14. And then Race Wilson comes up with an amazing interception. Cheyenne can't do much, though, with it. So Shanley gets the ball back again. Isaac Perkarevich, boy, he had a big night, carried a lot of things on offense. And then how about this angry run after the catch from Mr. Leininger? Yeah, Mr. Leininger plows him over. Angry run indeed, Jody. And then it's Meyer passing to Sam Oshek, hits him right on the money. You can't throw a pass any better than that. Oshek to the house. Do we have a cricket in here, Carson? I think we have a cricket in here.
I don't know if you guys can hear that over the mics, but it's hilarious. Busek then muscling his way around for some more yards. Shanley wins it 40-14. The Deacons improve to 4-0. Jordan Leininger, a couple of receiving touchdowns and an interception. And we saw Sam Oshek have a big impact in this game. We talked to him afterwards on how important this win was.
It means a lot. I mean, this is the second, I believe it's the second win against Cheyenne in school history. So to come out and do this on homecoming my senior year, it truly means a lot to me and other seniors as well. Our defense kind of started putting the foot down. I mean, I feel like if we got a little swing of energy, we kind of loosened up a little too much on offense. But then second half, the defense really showed out.
And that was the thing, the defense. What they were able to do in the second half against a Cheyenne team that can score points as well, that's what makes this Shanley team really dangerous.
Yeah, it really does. And they're going to be tough to stop for any defense going forward in the rest of the season in 3A. You saw what they put on tonight, putting up 42 points against a pretty good Cheyenne defense. And, let's see this offense work in strides as they progress the rest of the year.
Who's going to be able to stop them? Davies and West Fargo played literally just about less than a mile south of where Shanley and Cheyenne played. West Fargo visiting those Eagles. Eagles up 9-8, looking for more. Luke Lorenz fights his way over the plane before he's pushed back. Davies extends their lead, and they're going to go for two here. And well, if it worked once, well, maybe it'll work again. The handoff again to Lorenz, barrels his way in, gets the two-pointer. Eagles up 17-8. West Fargo looking to cut into that once before halftime. Final seconds taken away. Brady Medina pass over the middle, intercepted here by Grant Chosick, and he wants a little bit more too.
Yeah, Grant Chosick with a nice interception, especially before the half, carrying over some momentum for those Davies Eagles going into the second half.
Yeah, Davies up 17-8 at the half. The Eagles soar tonight 40-14. So the Eagles kind of cement themselves as that third best team in the East.
Yeah, they certainly do. And it's going to be, tough with those top three spots. You got you got the Deacons, then you got the Mustangs and Cheyenne, and now Davies kind of fighting for that third spot to get themselves in the mix.
Right now ranked 5th in the state, despite that 1-2 record now at 2-2, and they play at Minot next week. That is going to be quite the showdown because, let's take a look at the highlights of Minot tonight. 3rd ranked in the state. They have looked dominant, but a signature win over Century tonight would really put a stamp on things for the Magi. Lucas Peter looking at Caden Kraft, finds him on a 9-yard score. In second quarter, Minot's Griffin Broderick. This guy's been plowing over everyone this season.
Yeah, Griffin Broderick's been very impressive thus far. Just plowing over dudes a little Jerome Bettis-like at the goal line.
Jerome Bettis, the bus, makes it 15-0 just before the half. Century tries to get something going, but Tyson Ruziska blows up Mr. Jensen, Oliver Jensen, Logan Conklin trying to scoop and score, but there's laundry on the field. The half ends on that play. Minot, though, still unbeaten, and I'd say a statement made. 30-0 over Century, who played in the state title game last year.
Yeah, huge statement game for the Magi. I mean, you're just talking about Davies getting in the mix. Minot has definitely cemented themselves in, very deserving fashion of being, a top team in the state.
Yeah, I think you look at Minot and Shanley being those top two teams. They probably will be when the polls come out next week. Bismarck back in the top 5 this week. That's more like it, says the Demons fans. Mark Gibson taking on a winless Legacy tonight. Demons score on the score first, a 28-yard run by Carter Hankey. We saw the deja vu plays last week. This time he gets one on the ground to start.
Yeah, Carter Hankey's just been going off these last 2 weeks. Very much standout player for the Demons, and he's been balling out lately.
Then they go airborne. Quinn Hafner, 45 yards to Grady Swanson. Nice ball, nice catch. Gets him down near the goal line. Flag comes out, or the ball comes out, but he was down by contact. Hafner finishes off the drive with a score, makes it 14-0. Bismarck with a dominant performance tonight at the Community Bowl, 34-7, and they play West Fargo next week. So the Demons just continuing to pile up some momentum here as the season progresses. They will be a dangerous squad. Let's move over to Class AA, where the Cushman Classic highlighted the slate. Second-ranked Red River hosting a 1-3 Central. Rough Riders trying to make it 3 straight wins in this series. Knights hoping to play spoiler. And how about this? The honorary bell ringer, former Red River assistant football coach and wrestling coach John Coppy. No score late in the first. Central They started Jack Simmers last week at quarterback. He got in there. He takes it around the quarterback keeper, makes it 6-0. 2 plays later, Red River strikes back. Pierce Parks going to chuck the ball deep, and he's looking for Zach Elke.
Yeah, the Parks to Elke combination is a very prominent one, and they just could have used a few more plays out of Pierce Parks, who is a standout player for the Rough Riders.
I love the wild celly by number 3. Do you see that? Arms flailing like I see that sometimes. And there's a good celebration. He's fired up about it. Way to go, Zach. Tied up at 6. To the second, we still go tied at 6s, but Simmers with the dump off to Eric Pay, the UND commit, and he's going to pay off. He takes it the distance. Knights are back on top. They take a 13-6 lead into halftime. And then, you smell something? You smell an upset? Oh boy. Fast forward to the 4th here. Central up 16-6, and the Knights and Simmers put this game on ice. Simmers to Trey Kuntz, his 3rd touchdown of the day. The Central Knights, what a win over 2nd-ranked Red River tonight.
Yeah, that's a huge win for the Knights in the Cushman Classic. Simmer was simmering tonight. You know, he had a lot of help from Pay and other guys. You know, Trey Kuntz had a reception touchdown. Very nice game out of the Knights. Huge upset.
Well, let's hear from this squad afterwards.
This is amazing. Last 2 years they took it from us. To come back as seniors and fight like that, it was amazing. Everybody did their part. Our senior class is awesome. We work so hard every week, and this is awesome. Come off 3 bad losses we just did, and then to come beat down an undefeated team like them, it was awesome, for sure.
Credit to Jake Schauer and his staff getting that Central squad prepared, making a change to Jack Simmers, and now they have next week off. So Central might be able to figure some things out now with how they use Simmers and the weapons that he has, whether it's Pay or Kuntz. This could be a tough team here down the stretch.
Yeah, especially down the stretch. Like you said, they got this next week off. It'll give us some time to kind of recover, get healthy, and kind of have a nice fresh push into the second half of the year.
Well, let's take a look at what St. Mary's and North did tonight over on the north side of Fargo. St. Mary's might as well have been walking into a hornet's nest. Top-ranked North has been averaging over 50 points per game, and a lot of it because of this guy, Peter Haugo, to the house on a 4th and 1. He goes 49 yards, makes it 14-zip. Well, they're not done yet. It's a duo we've seen a lot this year. Ethan Welk going to throw it up to his big tight end, Carter Zeller, captain to captain.
Yeah, Zeller is a big play target for North. As you can see, he mosses the defender, just being way too big and coming down with a big catch.
They get a field goal out of it, but St. Mary's has an answer here. Thrown to the end zone. It's a fight for the ball. Hank Berry comes down with it for the touchdown. So they cut the deficit to 10, but North ends up going on to win this one 38-15. The Spartans remain unbeaten. Remember, Red River was at 2. South was at 3. They're going to play South next week, but for now, North, the top dog, but we're going to find out who the real top dog in Class 2A is. South absolutely hammered their opponent tonight, Devils Lake 70-6, but that's going to be interesting next week when the Bruins and Spartans tangle. Let's go to Wahpeton. Horace hasn't played since picking up the program's first ever win 2 weeks ago against Devils Lake. Could they make it 2 straight? Visiting Wahpeton tonight, Hawks take a deep shot here. Taylor Stefanowicz to Gavin Olson. He's going to slip out of a tackle, 66 yards for the score.
Yeah, Coach Gilbertson didn't teach us to tackle like that back in the day.
Carson, of course, the former Wahpeton Husky. Horace strikes again, this time on a 4th down. Stefanowicz throws a dart. The Hawks are up 14-6. Just a minute left in the first. Huskies get a big answer. Trayton Malk, he's been their MVP.
Yeah, Trayton Malk is a stud. And he carries that offense and defense, does a whole lot for that Wahpeton squad.
So that made it Hawks 20-14 at the break. To the 3rd, Horace adds to its lead. This is Ty Gurai, and he shows some shiftiness on the run. 10-yard score for Gurai and the Hawks. And how about it? Horace, a 26-20 win. After not winning at all in their first varsity season, they now have back-to-back victories. That is huge for the program.
Yeah, big win for Horace, getting back-to-back wins. You know, a young team kind of coming into their own, and now getting, to be 500 on the year is big for the Hawks.
And now playing a Valley City team next week that just suffered their first loss against Dickinson tonight. Wahpeton doesn't get much easier for them. They play against the defending state champs from Jamestown next week. Region 4 will get decided the next 2 Fridays. In Class A, undefeated Shiloh Christian playing fellow unbeaten Trinity next week, but they had no time to glance ahead. They had to focus on 3-1 Bowman County for all of maybe a quarter. Isaac Emmel, 68 yards to the house. That makes it 20-0 in the first. Shiloh keeps it going in the second. Carter Seifert, this guy's been chucking the pigskin all over the place. Eli Thompson going to haul this one in 31 yards.
Yeah, you love to see him just throwing it all over the park, 31-yard connection. Very nice.
Bulldogs were without quarterback Bowden Duffield tonight. He's been so good. This one floats into the hands of Skyhawks' James Wilson for the pick, and it's a pick six, 27 yards. Next possession for Bowman County, and another pick six. Michael Fagerlund will take it to the house.
Yeah, Fagerlund just kind of adding insult to injury as Shiloh Christensen remains unbeaten on the season.
Yeah, Skyhawks score 53 all in the first half, and they put it in cruise control tonight over Bowman County. But again, if you're down at Bowden Duffield, it's going to be tough sledding for that Bulldogs team. They've now lost back-to-back games. I think it was Killdeer last week. Shiloh Christian, though, looking like the real deal, and they will get undefeated Trinity next week. That is going to be quite the tango between the Skyhawks and the Titans. Let's go to the nine-man ranks. The trucks parked around the field in Wyoming at lunchtime today. A lot of anticipation as the Warbirds welcome number 2 Sargent County to town. Someone going home with loss number 1. Bulldogs fire the first shot. Junior running back James Throner bounces this one to the outside. No one can catch him. He scoots 26 yards for the touchdown. 7-0 Sargent County. Midway through the first, Michael Hoisted going to drop back to pass and find senior tight end Luke Martinson, who is an absolute stud out there on the football field.
Yeah, Martinson got size and athleticism, able to catch it and turn on the Jets to run away from the defense.
56 yards on this score makes it 14-0. All visitors. Warbirds trying to answer. Tyler Brandt feeling the pressure. It's going to lead to this, an interception. The big man, Grady Waylander, the 255-pound lineman. Oh boy, he's not going to get taken down, is he?
You got to be happy for the big man. He doesn't get to touch the ball too much, but as soon as he does, he's able to do something with it.
I know Grady's pretty respected down in those parts for Eric Olson's team. 21-0 Sargent County. Tyler Brandt this time calls his own number. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Tyler Brandt called his number on that one, able to provide a big touchdown when they needed him.
Early second quarter now. It was all Bulldogs from here. Hoisted throws a screen to Josh Wittich, and no one stopping him from getting into the end zone. Not even his own man. Marcus Mathias, he stiff arms his teammates to get in for the score. 45 yards, 28-6. Sargent County now 5-0. And this is a Bulldogs team that, remember, was in Class A last year, and they kind of struggled. They come down to 9-man, but they return all of their starters pretty much, and it's shown. They got a big opening win against Lemoore Litchfield Marion, who's been a powerhouse lately. Now they go to Wyndmere Lidgerwood and beat a 4-0 Wyndmere Lidgerwood team by that amount. This is a Bulldogs team that needs to be taken seriously.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, to return all these veteran players is huge for the Bulldogs. And then let's not treat Wyndmere like any slouch. They were 4-0 coming into this, and to be able to put a thumping on them like this is a statement game for the Bulldogs going forward.
That's why we got the Bulldogs helmet out here along with Wyndmere Lidgerwood. How about this one? One of the best entrances in high school football. Coming out of the stock trailer, here come the defending state champs. New Salem Almont going against rival Grant County Flasher. Javin Freeze had 5 touchdowns, 300 rushing yards last week, and he just keeps running. Punt return for a touchdown. The guy can do everything, man. 8-0 Grant County Flasher with a haymaker early. Then Landon Tellman, 7-yard touchdown pass on a 4th down to Wyatt Kuhn. Kuhn playing jump ball against Freeze.
Yeah, nice jump ball action from Kuhn to just come down with that one and be the bigger guy.
Freeze said, well, I didn't have a passing touchdown last week. How about this week? This one to Jason Weinberger. Makes it 14-6 Grant County Flasher. It was 14-14 at the half. We have a ball game here. Landon Tellman, this time in the third quarter, 62 yards to Brock Norton. The running back gets loose, and he gets in for 6.
Yeah, big throw on that play. Jeez.
If you like that one, Tellman's going to cork one up again, this time to Ethan Meyer to put New Salem up 30-14. Going deep, and boy, he can really sling it.
Yeah, he really can. You love to see him just throwing the ball all over the park like that. It's a lot really fun football to watch.
So game over, right? They're up by 16. Not so fast. Javin Freeze, 2-yard touchdown run on the first play after a pick, makes it 30-28. New Salem still in front, and then Brock Norton, well, he's going to slam the door shut. Look at that zigzag. Good ball security when they're trying to strip it away. And New Salem Almont wins this one 38-28. They can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. That was one of the tougher games on the schedule, especially with the momentum the Storm had going after a big win last week against Linton HMB Strasburg-Zeeland. But the Storm falls short tonight. New Salem Almont prevails, and we talked to the Holsteins afterward.
Oh my goodness, man. Like, that's an event that we needed really bad. We needed that. Our team has been like up and down all season. We really needed some really tight game to just get us going. You know, I've always been nervous, but there's always been a confidence side to me, and I've shown it. I mean, I'm going to give myself some credit here. I've shown that I'm confident in that pocket. But yeah, I'm still first year, but it's so fun back there, man, in front of that line.
You give yourself credit. Players don't do that enough. Give yourself some credit. Congratulations to New Salem Almont. And we talked about kind of that neck of the woods. Hettinger County gets a big win over Linton HMB. They were able to defeat the Lions 34-28 for the first time ever. Matt Huther had 3 total touchdowns in that one and a big win for Hettinger County. But fun slate of games. New Salem making a little bit of a statement tonight. We will be back, and we will be back with some zone coverage. We'll hear from some of the victorious head coaches, like that guy, Jake Schauer, the Grand Forks Central coach, after winning the Cushman Classic. That's next.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
Had to throw a couple more helmets up here. Minot, again, shout out to the dominant win over Century. They remain undefeated. Horace gets win number 2. Sorry, Carson. His Huskies go down tonight. But the Shanley Deacons also, along with Minot, the 2 unbeatens in the top class in North Dakota high school football. And it was a 42-14 win over Cheyenne. And a lot gets made about the offense, but Troy Matter knows the other side of the football played pretty darn well tonight, too. Let's hear from Troy.
Obviously, it was huge. You know, our defense, we talk about all the time, we got a lot of starters back from last year's team that had a lot of success, and that's why we're able to be as aggressive as we are, especially on the offensive side of the ball, is because we know we trust our defense, because we gave them a lot of short fields, you know, and they came and they answered the call, and again, offensively, we made a lot of big plays. I thought our 4th downs were huge offensively. We made a lot of big 4th down plays.
And how about the Cushman Classic? Another game that was big tonight, a rivalry game up in Grand Forks. Red River came in undefeated, ranked number 2 in the state. Central's heard all the talk in town about how good Red River is, and Central came up and they kicked them in the mouth a little bit. Jake Schauer's team going on to win it 30-18 tonight. Had the quarterback switch. Jack Simmers coming in, and let's hear from the victorious head coach, Jake Schauer.
It's a little better than a regular win, right? Anytime you play the crosstown rival and you haven't beat them for a couple of years, it's great, you know. But I think at the end of the day, the best thing is the kids played hard. Kids played with class, and the kids played Central football. You know, they showed what we can do when we play 4 quarters of hard-nosed football. We play defense, offense, special teams. You know, that'll be a film that you look back on, and it really shows what we're capable of. We played a clean football game, and we won one that not many people thought we could win.
So a big statement made by the Knights tonight.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, when you're playing your in-town rival, it means just a little bit more. Central hasn't beaten Red River in a few years now, like Coach mentioned. So picking up the win for the Knights is got to feel good for the boys, and knocking off a really good Red River team at that.
Might be the spark that Central Knights need. New Salem Almont, boy, it was close against Grant County Flasher, and it always is between those 2 teams. But the Holsteins get it done tonight. In a little bit nervous down the stretch, but Steve Kleingen's team successful underneath the shadow of Salem Sioux.
You know, they're a great football team, and when you got a quarterback like Freeze, you're never out of the game, and we knew that, and they just got themselves back in. They made some great plays, and were able to, you know, put the pressure back on us, and I thought down the stretch that our kids rose back up. We had a great defensive stand, and then we kind of finished it off the way we like to, which is a physical, hard-nosed running game, and we got that stuff done, and it was a great game. My hat's off to Coach Krenz down there. They came here and played a hell of a ball game. I mean, it's good football. This is great high school football tonight.
2 head coaches with a lot of respect for one another. And like he said, we finished the game the way we want to, running it down their throats. And that's something that they are very, very good at. Even when they lose some players like they did last year off that state championship team, they know how to run the football. And the Holsteins look like the best team, the team to beat, most likely in 9-man. Guys?
Maybe Sargent County will have something to say about that. We'll
that could be it. Sargent County's been playing really good football.
We'll talk about that.
The Dogs,
we'll
right here, the
later.
Dogs.
Dogs, crickets. You got crickets going on up there.
You heard that, right?
I did hear that.
Yeah,
I did hear
that. We overcame adversity tonight.
You did.
Good job, Carson.
You really battled through that. So proud of you, fellas. All right, well, we had some big games here tonight, too, in the state of South Dakota. And of course, a lot of attention, as always, being paid to 11 AAA, and rightfully so. Number 1 team, Lincoln, all year, looked the part. And Jared Fredenberg, certainly after his team's 35-20 win over Harrisburg, was proud of the effort, but certainly with the guys up front. The big guys got the job done tonight.
Well, we were able to run the ball tonight. I think with the weapons that we have on the outside, we can throw it and we can get yards. But when we need to eat the clock up, that 98-yard drive was one of the best drives we've had, ever since I've been head coach at Lincoln. I mean, we took that and went the distance of the field behind the offensive line and mainly ran it. And so that's just phenomenal. I love that. Our offensive line played well tonight.
Varsity Sports Live, presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University.
All right. What'd you learn?
The number one teams stayed number one, but there's going to be some battles coming up. Next week is going to be awesome.
Season's just getting better. For Jason Andera, I'm Jay Elson, Jody Norstead, Carson Zarek up in North Dakota. Thanks for watching Varsity Sports Live.